Hi Virgo, welcome to your week ahead Taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're sun, moon or rising sign Virgo, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they speak to you. With that said, before we start, I'm so sorry that these are late. It's been a moment. So I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So let's have a look at your week ahead. So for your actions and options, you get the Hanged Man, right? So this is a week to take it easy. This is a week to trust that everything that you've done is as good as it's possibly ever going to be. And more importantly, this is a week for you to trust not only yourself, but also the universe. The Hanged Man always asks us to take a moment to reassess, reevaluate. But in order to do those things, we have to make ourselves still, right? So this is a moment where you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to add anything. You don't have to take anything away. Just observe how you feel. And more importantly, where you are at this moment in time. Are you enjoying your journey? Are you paying attention to the signs, the symbols and the synchronicities? It's completely up to you, the experience that you have. So this week, take a moment to command that. And you know, when life speeds up, we need to slow down, because that way we can anticipate everything that comes at us. And very often the Hanged Man really does kind of say, take a moment, take a beat, step back, look at things objectively, you know, as they are. Now, when it comes to your actions and options in terms of what you choose, this, if for a lot of you actually, could be a week where you are choosing a more spiritual dynamic of life. This could be where you're working on your intuition. This could be where you are deciding to what's the word? I've just completely lost my train of thought. Where this could be a week where you're working on your intuition, but it could also be a week where you're saying, you know what, I want to start building more of a spiritual practice. It doesn't have to be religious, but you know, this is about you delving into finding a way to connect with what you perceive to be out there. For your communications and conversations, you have the Ten of Swords. So I do need to make you aware that this week you could be having a bust up. The Ten of Swords, very often a crescendo kind of energy. Your communications and conversations, what you say, how it, how it's received, what somebody says to you, the information that you've received, the information that you give, it's all of that. And the Ten of Swords in this position can literally represent an argument, a challenge, a bust up. Now, you've got that here in the communications, but you have the Hanged Man here in the actions and options. You can literally choose not to engage in this, right? And you know, I say that now like, oh, look at me, I'm so in control of my emotions, of course. All jokes aside, I mean, I am relatively very well in control of my emotions. Not always, but you know, I'm human. I promise there's more than circuitry underneath all of this. But all jokes aside, this really does suggest that this week you can avoid this, but you're going to have to really hold on to yourself in a lot of ways. The reason I say this is because very often the Ten of Swords, anything that takes us to the Ten of Swords has pushed a button or crossed a line that really shouldn't be crossed. I'm just going to put that out there. Now, for those of you that work for somebody else, there's a couple of ways that this could play out. This could be the employment is coming to a termination. Now, because you've got the Hanged Man there, I wonder if this is you giving it up. Like maybe with the job you say, you know what, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be tied to this institution, you know, company, boss, like whatever. It's like, because remember as well, sometimes the Hanged Man is sacrifice. So this week there's an element here of you saying, you know what, I'm done. This is my notice. I'm not here for it. Whatever. For those of you that work for yourselves, business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, another way that this could play out is maybe you are terminating a contract with a client. Maybe you are saying, actually, you know what? I don't want to be in this anymore, or actually this doesn't work for me. In a lot of ways, this is going to see you guys who are in that sort of self-employed sphere, you know, whether that's you've got your own company or whatever, this will see you really saying, this is what I'm ready to break ties with. And it may be that the reason comes up is because that external entity, you know, client, company, you know, customer, whatever, maybe they press a button, or they really try to cross a line this week, and you're like, you know what, I'm just not here for it. For those of you that are retired or no longer working for any reason, this could see you needing to rush to the assistance of somebody because their health takes a turn for the worst. Now, I'm not seeing death here, just because of the combination of cards, but I am seeing that maybe your time has to be forfeit. Maybe your time needs to be sacrificed because somebody else really needs your assistance. It may be that you're even doing this on behalf of somebody. You know, maybe the niece and nephew phones you up and says, look, mum or dad is not well, you know, and they really need to be looked after, and I've got to work. Or do you know what I mean? Like, you're called upon for your assistance this week in some way, shape or form. For your money and materials, you have the Page of Cups. So whatever you are incepting, whatever you're putting into practice, interestingly enough, the Page of Cups coupled with the Hanged Man represents the time of Pisces. And what this tells me is that whatever you're doing this week, whatever you're launching this week, you will be revisiting again in Pisces season. So next year. So you know, I mean, it's easy to say, like, that's a whole 12 bloody months away yet, Raf. You know, I get it. Well, less actually, because Pisces season is not now. But you get my point. Like, whatever you're seeding or putting out into the world this week, the chances are you'll be revisiting it later. Now, what I like about the Page of Cups for money is it suggests that you're making money, or you're finding ways to make money from things that you genuinely love to do. And that is really, really important. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, your feet, your ankles, your toes, your tootsies, as I call them, your lymph system, all of that general area, please look after them, especially because you've got the Ten of Swords here. Those two coupled together, like if we're talking specifically about your health and vitality, this could be you, you know, walk into the door frame, you break your little toe. I've done it before, trust me. Oh my gosh. I remember the day that I did that, because I literally just stood there and said, I was late, I was rushing, it was all a mess anyway, and I literally just said to myself, do you know what, I can't even deal with that right now. So I just literally, it's like my brain just switched it off. And then when I went to the doctor, my foot was black and it took weeks to heal. It was a whole thing, and they couldn't strap it up because it was a toe. So just be really careful with your feet, your ankles and your toes this week, especially because you've got that Ten of Swords there. You know, and I touch wood on this, I truly hope that I'm wrong, but it could be something really as awful as you drop a fork or a knife and, you know, you're barefoot in the kitchen. Just don't tempt fate this week, all right? When you're when it comes to your home and environment, the Page of Cups is beautiful, especially for those of you that are in partnerships and relationships, because it suggests that there's a warm energy to the home. What it also tells me as well is that this could be a new animal, it could be a new pet coming into the home this week, it could possibly be a new rescue coming in this week. So whether this is fostering a child or an animal, very possible. For some of you, maybe you are having to take on somebody else's kids because they are sick, they have to be out of town, whatever. Like, there's a sense here that you're having to step in to assist someone on that behalf, but it could be, you know, like I said, either a child or a pet. For your love and relations, you have the Chariot card. Beautiful. All right, so whatever comes up for you guys in terms of you being of assistance, the Chariot card suggests, because you've got the Ten of Swords here as well. So there's a few things. The first one, a trip that you guys have planned may not go ahead this week. Just be aware of that. I don't think it's not going to happen. I just think you're going to have to reschedule it. It won't happen this week because something else is going to come up that will demand your attention. When it comes to your, those of you that are single, I mean, you could be meeting somebody this week, but it's going to be like in not the best circumstances. It could be one of those things like, you know, touch wood, maybe you meet at a funeral, or like, I don't know, maybe maybe you have to go to the emergency room and you meet somebody there. Do you know what I mean? It's like you could be meeting someone on your travels, but it would be in like a really unconventional setting. That's the feeling that I get from it. Yeah, all in all though, what also comes up here for partnerships and relations, for those of you that are in partnerships, marriages, etc. The Page of Cups coupled with the Chariot card is Cancer season. So you've got two longer term predictions here. The first one is Pisces season next week. Whatever you're doing this week, there's going to be an element of it for next year. And then for Cancer season. So whatever you're doing this week or happens this week, you may be revisiting around the time of late June coming into July. So for your Human Design Oracle card, let's have a look what you have. You have, Looking Back, the Gate 33. I mean, that's such a beautiful card, and it's so, I mean, first of all, I'm seeing the Master number 33, which suggests that this week does have a very spiritual element to it. So whatever happens this week, just consider that there are bigger forces at work. And that's not meant to scare you. It's actually meant to inspire and, you know, put you at ease. There are bigger forces at work this week, and you'll be getting just glimpses of the bigger things that are going to start to shape up for you. In terms of the Gate 33 and looking back, I don't think this is necessarily dwelling on the past. I think it's more a case of understanding who you are in relation to the past. And that's going to be really important, especially with this Ten of Swords, because I kind of feel like this is you going to be standing up, you know, in a really sort of powerful way to say enough, you know, like one of those moments. And then finally, it's got the dragonfly on it. And for me, dragonflies represent luck, abundance, immortality, but they also represent the ability to transcend whatever is in this moment in time. So with that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week as best as you possibly can. Be on hand for those that love you, just like they have been for you. And I think you'll sail through it relatively easily. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.